Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of a Doctor Who reaction. This is Heard Live, my name is Matt. So, stuff happened in the last episode. Things went down. Things went really down. We had incredibly high stakes. But since this is like middle of the season, I don't actually think shit will go down as hard as it seemed like it was going to, but it might. We're just gonna watch and see. We're just gonna go watch the episode and see what happens. But to recap, the previous episode was called the Zygon Invasion, and we learned a couple of things. We learned that in Day of the Doctor, which I watched a number of times, so that was fresh in my memory. Apparently, off screen, what ended up happening with the whole Zygon situation is that humans and Zygons actually came to an agreement, a peace treaty, if you will, where Zygons would be allowed to stay on Earth and live there, passing as another human, basically. So disguise themselves as human and live their lives as human in the human world. That was the deal. So there were a couple Zygons that were initially there when the deal was made, and then we like a bunch of other Zygons were bred, and the rule was that the person that they first saw basically was the person that they should take their form of and then live their life as that person. The episode starts and we see Osgood struggling, and apparently she was killed by Zygon rebels. So, Zygons are apparently. Well, no, she wasn't killed. I'm sorry, I'm crazy. She was taken away by Zygon rebels. So, what happened was that we have Zygon rebels, which are Zygons that grew up, and when they grew up, they were like, man, fuck this human shit, man. I want to be myself, which is fair. So, a bunch of Zygons started this group, this rebel group, and decided, you know what, we're just gonna take over the world because we demand rights to be ourselves, not just disguised as humans. We just wanna be ourselves, which in a way it is kind of a noble cause, but at the same time, they are literally killing people. So it's like maybe that's not the way, my dude. Maybe not like that. Um, they also kill like the commander Zygons or whatever, like the ones that were in charge that were disguised as children. Uh, they took Osgood, and we also learned that there were the two Osgoods that we saw in Day of the Doctor. One of them was the Zygon, the other one was the human. One of them died in Death in Heaven. The other one survived. We don't know which one died and which one survived, but that's kind of not the point. The point is that the both of them decided to never tell the other, well, never tell anyone else, which one was originally a Zygon and which one was originally human, because after the fact, they were like, no, fuck that shit. We're just gonna be the same. We're just the same person. It doesn't matter what anyone says. We're never gonna tell anyone which one is the real one, because we're both real. We're both matter, and that's it. So we don't know which one died and which one survived. We might never know, and I feel like that's fair. That's fitting. I don't remember where the Doctor is in, but there were like three locations we were at. So we had England, which is where all of Doctor Who happens. We had Mexico, which is where Kate was, and then we had another place, which is where the Doctor was. I don't remember where that was, but I assume somewhere in like the Middle East or somewhere in Europe. It was like a remote place. But yes, that's where they assume Osgood was kept, and apparently she was. So we rescued her, and we also captured one Zygon, and we were on a plane, and then that Zygon let the Doctor know that he lost because he's a dumbass or whatever. And then we learned that the Clara that we've been seeing the entire time that was in England, she was actually a Zygon. Clara was earlier in the episode. She was well, we don't know what happened to her, but I assume she was taken away. Well, we do know what happened to her because we see her body kept in like a pod. So she was taken away, and a Zygon took her form, and then that Zygon went and did the rest of the episode as Clara number 2, which in hindsight we should have like not noticed but like realized that there was something different, because as soon as the second Clara left that building, she like changed her hair. She like tied up her hair or something, or like let it go, and that is a way of showing you no, these are two different characters, which is like it's not very noticeable, but it was there, so fair. We also do see that Kate in Mexico, like the entire town was turned into whatever. Like the Zygons had this gun that turns people into like hay or something. I don't remember it very well, but the entire like little town there in New Mexico was like everyone was turned into that, and there was only one person left, which was a police lady, and she was kind of badass. But I was like, is she a Zygon? Well, is Kate a Zygon? Is anyone a Zygon? And Clara ended up being a Zygon, but then also the police lady turned out to be a Zygon. So Kate was like, oh shit. And then at the end of the episode, the doctor gets informed that both Kate and Clara are all dead. Supposedly. Like, allegedly. I don't think so, but we'll see. Like, I don't think they're dead, but maybe. And then the doctor, yeah, he gets told that they're just gonna fucking shut down the plane he's in. He's never gonna land. Fuck that plane. And then we see Zygon Clara go in a motorcycle and get a rocket launcher and fucking shoot it at the plane. And that's where the episode ended. So there you go. So what am I expecting to see in this episode? I have no idea how we're gonna solve this problem. I don't think Clara's dead. I don't think Kate is dead. Maybe Kate could be dead, but I don't think she is. As something that I'm thinking about is that maybe the Clara that we see at the end of the episode with the rocket launcher, maybe that's real Clara, not Zygon Clara. So I don't know how, but maybe if that happens, because like the doctor has to like survive somehow. So now I'm thinking about what could he do. I mean, he already skydove in Death in Heaven, so maybe he does that again. Maybe they have some bullshit alien technology, like Osgood got something on her that makes it so they can escape, or Clara is actually Clara and not Zygon Clara. That sentence just happened, and I don't know. I really don't know where we're gonna go with this. This is a problem because like the Zygons took over Unit as well. I forgot to mention. They took over Unit, and Unit has all alien technology in the planet essentially. So it's like that's a problem. That's a pickle we found ourselves in. And Zygons can really just take over anyone, any position of power. They can just become that person, and they have basically. So that's where we're at. Yeah. Let's see where this episode goes. Go. Oh my god, this is the most non-real shit that I've ever seen in my entire life. You can control it. She's forcing her not to be able to pull the trigger. Okay. It's fine, they got away. Clara bought him enough time so the doctor can figure what to do. Or what was gonna do. What was gonna happen. Because after the first shot missed, the doctor was like, okay, she's gonna shoot a rocket at me. I'm gonna do something about that, you know. So good job, Clara. She's like, alright, he made it out. Nice. It's fine. That's a parachute.
Doctor? Doctor!
Alright, there he is. I like this.
You've gone quiet because I mentioned Clara. You think she might be dead?
Yes.
You okay?
I don't know. I'm still in the home phase.
She's making her call the doctor without noticing. Text the doctor. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. Clara is the one doing it.
It says I'm awake.
What does that mean? A political awakening? Why would you be sending me propaganda? She just blew me up with a big bazooka.
Never really met Clara. Pretty strong, yeah?
She was amazing.
No,
He's already was.
not was.
Yeah.
Is. It's not from the Zygon, it's from Clara.
How?
She's not dead. She's in a pod somewhere. They need a live feed to the information in her brain, but she's fighting back. She's trying to take control piece by piece.
Texting.
How much more human do you get? Well, the Zygon probably doesn't even know it sent this, or why it misfired that bazooka.
You don't know, it's just a theory.
This entire show is just a theory.
If you're watching this, I have been captured and interrogated. During the interrogation, I have revealed to you the existence of the Osgood box. I have revealed its location and the combination to open this safe. And guess what? I lied. The
Bitch.
Osgood box exists, but it's not here, so stop looking. Really, stop. The Osgood box can end the ceasefire. The Osgood box can start the war. The Osgood box can wipe out all humankind, but there's a reason it's called the Osgood box. Haven't you guessed?
Dr. John Disco. It was my plane. I had a big plane for purposes of pouncing about.
Dr. Jean Disco is my favorite.
It went off with a massive bang about half a mile that way.
They might be Zygons, Doc. They are not showing any reaction.
It's fine. We're fine, aren't we?
Yeah.
The kids earlier didn't show any
We're fine. Just
emotion either.
Hello.
You're dead.
Yes, well, I'm dead now, and I think I might be a bit more dead in a minute. What's your plan, Zygella?
I don't have a
Zygella.
plan.
Come on, you don't invade planets without having a plan. That's why they're called planets, to remind you to planet. Hey, that's good. Fantastic. Dr. Fantastic. Oh, come on, that was a good one, Zygella.
Don't call me Zygon.
This is a
My
new-
name's Bonnie.
This is a new development.
And you're winking at me.
I am not winking at you. Where is the
We're gonna need
box?
some wheels in the van. Okay, non-verbal communication. I assume that you never bothered to learn Morse code specs.
He's talking to the other Clara. Not this, not the Zygon, not the Bonnie.
Questions.
He's talking to the other.
Is it in a tunnel? Is it in London? Thanks very much. Gotcha.
Okay, so I want to say, the doctor was just making jokes and puns, and he was like smiling about it, and I can't tell if he did that just to distract himself on purpose to deceive everyone, or he was genuinely enjoying it. Because if so, then this is the recent development for the 12th Doctor, and one that I welcome.
I am calling your bluff. You need me alive. Only as a source of information. Then you better start asking questions. You better not lie. You see, that's the problem. I am a brilliant liar. How are you ever going to know? Our hearts are linked. Beat for beat. The one thing you and I can never do is lie to each other. Oh, that scared you, didn't it? The box ends the ceasefire. So I'm told. How? There's a button inside the box. Press it, it will transmit a signal that will unmask every Zygon on the planet for up to an hour. What's there to smile about? Mass panic. Followed by war. Every Zygon on our side at a stroke. 20 million Zygons against 7 billion humans. That's not a war you can win! Then we will die in the fire, instead of living in chains. Most of your own kind don't want that. Why is it called an Osgood box? I'm not telling you. Good. I've been looking forward to hearing you scream. I'm not telling you, because when you get to the Black Archive, you'll find out for yourself. And when you do, you're going to want to speak to me again.
He's not lying.
Am I lying to you?
Doctor, we can help him, can't we?
I'm not sure. Please! Come back! Come back!
Reporting back to High Command.
I'm going to the Black Archive. I'll open it up, you will follow. Of course. But first, locate the Doctor. If possible, duplicate him. And then kill him.
It will be my pleasure.
That's actually Kate. Did she take out the Zygon lady?
This is my home. taken my life. No, stop.
He's gonna kill himself.
There it is, Osgood. There's their plan. Unmask everyone. Provoke fear, paranoia, provoke a war.
Doctor.
Kate, are you all right?
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
It's just I heard otherwise.
I'm fine. Doctor, we know where the Zygon command center is. We know where Clara's pod is. We can take you there.
Well, how very convenient, because that's just exactly what we're looking for.
I think that is actually Kate. Because we got a hard cut between the Zygon policewoman and Kate, and then next thing we see is actual Kate with 2 Zygons on her back being like, yo, what's up? We came back from North America. And they believe it's a Zygon Kate, but it might actually be real Kate. Because we never actually saw what happened.
Don't kill him. We need him alive.
What for?
Because I just found out why it's called an Osgood box.
Because there's 2.
There's 2 of them.
Oh, that's
Two
good.
Osgood's, 2 boxes, Operation Double. What did you expect?
That's good.
1 box normalizes all the Zygons.
And the other?
Destroys them.
Doctor?
The other one says the same. Ah, that's good. Kate's real. Kate's totally real.
Sorry, Doctor. Self-defense.
We got here super fast.
Hi, stop this, please. Let me take both of these boxes away. We'll forgive. We'll forget. And the ceasefire will stand.
No.
Doctor, which of these buttons do I press? Doctor, which one? Truth or consequences?
Truth or consequences?
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Make your mind up, time! One of those buttons will destroy the Zygons, release the imbecile's gas. The other one detonates the nuclear warhead under the Black Archive. It'll destroy everyone.
Why do we have this?
Bonnie, sweetheart,
I don't think any of...
will unmask every Zygon in the world. The other one cancels their ability to change form. It'll make them human beings forever.
Is any of these buttons
Beyond
real?
safeguards. I did
Because
this
it...
on a very important day for me. And this ceasefire will stand.
Because this sounds like it is too much.
We've been left to fend for ourselves.
So is everyone.
It's not fair.
Oh, it's not fair. Oh, I didn't realize that. It was not fair. But you know what? My TARDIS doesn't work properly, and I don't have my own personal tailor.
The things don't equate.
These things have happened, Zygella. They are facts. You just want cruelty to beget cruelty. You're not superior to people who were cruel to you. You're just a whole bunch of new cruel people. A whole bunch of new cruel people being cruel to some other people who'll end up being cruel to you. The only way anyone can live in peace is if they're prepared to forgive. Why don't you break the cycle?
Why should we?
What is it that you actually want?
War.
And when this war is over, when you have a homeland free from humans, what do you think it's going to be like? Do you know? Have you thought about it? Have you given it any consideration? Because you're very close to getting what you want. What's it going to be like? Paint me a picture. Are you going to live in houses? Do you want people to go to work? Will there be holidays? Oh, will there be music? Do you think people will be allowed to play violins? Who's going to make the violins? Well, oh, you don't actually know, do you? Because, like every other tantruming child in history, Bonnie, you don't actually know what you want. So let me ask you a question about this brave new world of yours. When you've killed all the bad guys, and when it's all perfect and just and fair, when you have finally got it exactly the way you want it, what are you going to do with the people like you? The troublemakers. How are you going to protect your glorious revolution from the next one?
Why are you still talking?
Because I want to get you to see, and I'm almost there.
Do you know what I see?
She's just...
Doctor? A box. A box with everything I need. A 50% chance.
For us too.
And we're off! Fingers on buzzers! Are you feeling lucky? Are you ready to play the game? Who's gonna be quickest? Who's gonna be luckiest?
This is not a game!
No, it's not a game, sweetheart, and I mean that most sincerely.
Why are you doing this?
Yes, I'd quite like to know that too. You set this up, why?
Because it's not a game, Kate. This is a scale model of war. Every war ever fought right there in front of you. Because it's always the same. When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel, you have no idea who's going to die. You don't know whose children are going to scream and burn. How many hearts will be broken? How many lives shattered? How much blood will spill until everybody does what they were always going to have to do from the very beginning? Sit down and talk! You could step away from that box. You could walk right out of that door, and you could stand your revolution down.
No. I'm not stopping this, Doctor. I started it. I will not stop it. You think they'll let me go after what I've done?
You're all the same, you screaming kids. You know that? Look at me. I'm unforgivable. Well, here's the unforeseeable. I forgive you. After all you've done, I forgive you.
You don't understand. You will never understand.
I don't understand. Are you kidding me? Of course I understand. I mean, you call this a war, this funny little thing? This is not a war. I fought in a bigger war than you will ever know. I did worse things than you could ever imagine. And when I close my eyes, I hear more screams than anyone could ever be able to count. And you know what you do with all that pain? Shall I tell you where you put it? You hold it tight till it burns your hand. And you say this: no one else will ever have to live like this. No one else will ever have to feel this pain. Not on my watch. Thank you. Thank you.
It's empty, isn't it? Both boxes. There's nothing in them.
Of course. But you know how you know that? Because you've started to think like me. No one should have to think like that. And no one will. Not on our watch. Gotcha.
You didn't wipe my memory.
Because you need to remember this change of mind that you just had.
There was another box. I was going to press another button. I was going to wipe out all of my own kind. Man, woman, and child. I was so sure I was right.
What happened?
Same thing that happened to you. I let Clara Oswald get inside my head.
That's literally what happened. Dude, I was so quiet during the last 10 minutes. Because I was just sitting here appreciating the entire Capaldi monologue. Because it was actually legitimately too much. Holy shit, that was good.
Stands for totally and radically driving in space.
Gotcha. Oh, look at his face. Well, it's almost not fair.
But I don't... How...
Think it through, Doctor.
Zygon.
Osgood. Doesn't matter which of us is which. All that matters is that Osgood lives.
I'm a very big fan.
You must have thought I was dead for a while.
Yeah.
How was that?
Not good.
Longest month of my life.
It could only have been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge of time.
Alright, that's it. Woo! That was an episode. So, that was like a really good episode where not a lot actually happened. Like, okay. Let's actually go back to the beginning. What is there to talk about? So, Clara didn't die. She's being kept in a dream state. So the Zygon can take control of her body. After the Then Clara woke up inside of like a dream, in like a room, and she realized immediately what was happening, which is, I mean, at this point, I believe it. Because from Clara, I believe it. I believe that she's that quick, because she is, really. And she immediately managed to make the Zygon clone just, like, boom, move her hand away and miss the first rocket. And then she hit the second one, but the doctor escaped by that point. They jumped off by a parachute, which was fun. Yeah, and then Bonnie, that's the name of the fake Clara. The doctor calls her Sigella, which is fun, but let's just say Bonnie. Let's respect her name. And yeah, she goes and has a talk with Clara to see what the fuck is up with the Osgood box. And then Clara tells her where it is, and then she goes there, and she realizes that there's actually 2 boxes. That's why it's called Osgood box, because there's 2. After that, we also see that Kate showed up. She talks to the doctor, tells him, okay, here's where Clara's being kept. They go there, and Clara's no longer there because Bonnie took Clara to the Black Archive because she was like, you're gonna want to talk to me after we're done because it's gonna be wild. And the doctor, yeah, and then they were like, well, shit, she's gone. And then Bonnie was like, alright, kill the doctor. And then Kate just shot the 2 Zygons in the head. And it was like, oh, I'm actually real Kate. And I was hoping to see like a badass fight between Kate and the Zygon, but it was nothing. It was literally just one shot of Kate doing this, shooting 5 rounds with her pistol, and that was the end of that. So Kate's awesome. She's here, and then we all go to the Black Archive, and then there's 2 boxes. There's 2 Osgood boxes, and one of them is red, the other one is blue. And then if you want to open up one and be like, alright, press the button, there's 2 buttons on each box. Which, that's really fun. Because, like, alright, one of them took one of, like, Bonnie took one of the boxes, and then Kate took the other one of the boxes, and they were like, alright, that box, one button does that, the other button does that, the other button does that, and the other button does that. Like, the doctor started talking, gave them all the information, and he started going and being like trying to convince them to stop. And like for the majority of it took a while. It actually legitimately took a while. What I do appreciate is that it felt like an... I have no idea how long that scene was, but it was like a full 5 minutes. Like a full 1/6 of the episode was nothing but Capaldi monologue, which I really like, because that's definitely the highlight of the episode. The highlight of the episode is that because the doctor, essentially what he wanted to do. So, first of all, both boxes were empty. There was nothing in any of the boxes, which I immediately called. But the point was to make them realize that this shit is pointless. And it's not good to have this mentality. And Kate was the first one to go, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. And then Bonnie joined in, and Bonnie was like, there's nothing in any of the boxes, is there? And the doctor was like, yeah, no, there's nothing. And the reason why you're thinking that there's nothing now is because you're finally thinking like me, which is, it's fucked. But at the very least, you won't want this to happen again. So the way we stop this Zygon civil war is by convincing the leader to just stop, which is I like that, actually. I really do like that. I like that we just convince the leader to just no. And the thing is that we convince them. So okay. We literally stopped it by having Capaldi monologue for like 5 full minutes, with the most amazing acting I've seen in a long time. Like, for real. Capaldi, I didn't say anything as it was happening because I didn't want to interrupt it. I just wanted to absorb it and not interrupt him. I was just like, you can see my eyes just opening more and more as it was keep going. I am just closing my mouth. I'm like amazed. Like I'm the verge of tears because it's so beautiful. Like Capaldi is so good. And this is like, I think has to be like the best. I think this has to be like the best like scene he's acted in this show so far. Which is, so it's a really high bar because Capaldi has been fucking unbelievably good. He's been fantastic. I remember I was watching like Blank Wave reacting to Series 8, and Eric was like, I don't think this season is my favorite. I don't think I like it as much, but Capaldi gained the spot of my favorite Doctor because he's so good. And like I went through the exact same journey. Like I think he's definitely my favorite of the modern Doctors. He might be my favorite of all Doctors as well. But I only watched one season with him and a half, I guess. We're past the halfway point with Series 9, but I feel like he's well on his way to be my favorite Doctor, and it's because Capaldi's just so fucking good. He really is. Like, the actor, not the Doctor. But, like, it's wow. It's just amazing. Like, that entire sequence, I want to go back and rewatch it. And I'm probably going to do it. Not right now, but I'm going to do it later. Because that was so good. And, like, we literally stopped this war from happening by talking it out. By having Capaldi monologue for like 5 minutes, and everyone was just at the verge of tears. They were like, you know what? No, you're right. I'm sorry. That's really, that's really good. That's so good. So, yes, that's essentially what happened. That's essentially the entire episode. We stopped the war by having. I like that Capaldi was like, this is what I wanted to do. We have here finally like war at its core. You know? We have these two opposing forces. They just disagree with the other to a core level. And they're aggressive about it. And they don't give a shit about how many people are gonna suffer and die as a consequence. And then that's it. This is like a mini scale of war. You have the two sides. You have Kate and you have Bonnie, and they're just, no, I refuse to acknowledge this. I refuse to accept this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be an idiot, and I'm gonna do it. You know? And the Doctor is like, really? Fucking really? Really? Think about what you're doing. For the love of God, just think. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're going to do after it's over. Have you thought about what's going to happen afterwards? No, because you haven't put thought into that. You have only put thought into the immediate thing that you want to do, which is war. I'm just going to fight them. Fuck them. I'm just going to fight them. That's it. We're going to kill them all. What happens after that? I don't know. Well, then there you go. You know, like, that entire, like, sequence pretty much covered everything that they wanted to put in. Capaldi just went all over the entire subject of war and why it's fucking stupid. And not necessarily why war is stupid, but also why the people that are warring are stupid, essentially. Like, you're the one that want to start a war. This is where you're fucking stupid. This is what is going through your mind. This is how your thought process is happening. And this is why it's awful. And you need to stop thinking like that. You know, it went through there, and then it went everywhere. The part when he actually got emotional, because she was like, you don't know what it's like. And Capaldi is like, I don't know what it's like. And then he got really emotional, and I was like, ah, because Capaldi acted it out so well. So well. Okay. Okay. I was just replaying that scene in my mind, because there's a single moment that I remember where it looks like the doctor is gonna cry. It looks like he just turns around and like covers himself for a second, and then he comes back. And like, it's like, it's so good. It's so good. It's Osgood, if you will. This episode was so amazing. Like, I can't believe how good it was. I literally can't believe that. Like, this two-parter felt like it had a ton of stakes going on, but ultimately, like, it was so much more small scale than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought we were going to have, like, a full-on civil war going on, because that's the setup of the previous episode. But this episode is like, no, completely avoided it. We're good. And it's like, alright, we're good, I guess. So I guess, yes, that's the end of this two-parter, man. That's, like... This second part... Like... This second part is not as good as the first part until you get to that Black Archive scene with Capaldi monologuing. It's not really a monologue, but it almost is a monologue. Like, just talking and talking and convincing them to just stop. That scene solely makes this episode one of the best ones this season. Like, for sure. Like, fuck that a shoulder shit. Capaldi monologue, though, on war. That was so good. That was so good. That's absolutely my favorite part of this episode. The other thing I want to mention that we had in this episode, it was very, very, very short, but Capaldi talking to Bonnie on the phone, he was like, he called her Sigella. He kept calling her Sigella. He started making jokes. Then he made puns. And then he started making jokes about being the master of puns. Or whatever. And he was like, who are you? What happened to you, Doctor? Because this is not the 12th Doctor we know. Because, like, the 12th Doctor consistently is someone who is grumpy as hell. He hates bantering. He hates puns. Yeah, like 2 episodes ago in Woman Who Lived, he was like, no, we're not doing puns. Fuck that shit. You know? But now he's the one doing puns, which is why it struck me as odd. So now I'm like, what? Like, I don't know if he was... I don't know if he was actually, like, trying to alleviate the situation and, like, well, not necessarily alleviate, but distracting Bonnie from what was actually going on, which is him talking to real Clara, so then Clara can wink back at him, so then he can figure out where she was, which was really clever. But I can't tell if that was that, or he was actually into it. And if he was into it, then I am into it. Because the thing about Capaldi Doctor is that I do like a lot the fact that he hates bantering, he hates simple, he hates puns and jokes. But then, the one thing that can make it better is if he goes from that to the opposite and becomes super goofy. For no reason. He just becomes that because it's fun. that would make it so much better. Like, because there is a difference between being goofy and then being grumpy and becoming goofy. There is a difference. Because he's like old man jaded in series 8. But this season, in the beginning of it, like in Magician's Apprentice, we did go a lot into Capaldi being more lively, because he was like, well, fuck, I give Davros my screwdriver, I made Davros. I hate myself now. And I'm gonna go die. So before I die, I'm just gonna be everything, you know? So we see him partying in like medieval times. We see him riding a tank, playing the guitar with sunglasses on and wearing a hoodie and looking like a rock star with like a regular shirt or whatever. Like a very simple look. He started wearing the simple look in the Christmas episode, to be fair. And then it's revealed, no, I don't have a sonic screwdriver anymore. I have sonic sunglasses. They're cool. And it's like, what? So I think Capaldi really hit that point where he just decided to not give a shit anymore. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Because it's fairly obvious during Magician's Apprentice. I mean, to be fair, Magician's Apprentice, you think about it being a plot point because it's the press. Because we do have that scene where Clara is like, oh, no, what did she say? She was like, oh, we're doing compliments too now. Which one of us is dying? And then the doctors just look at her like, and I was like, oh. And then he hugged her. And it was like, oh, he's doing hugs too. What the fuck? You know, it was concerning. But I think that from that point onwards, after the Davros thing, he's just kept going. You don't see it too much, but you see it a little. And in this episode, I feel like you saw it a lot. You know, you saw it a lot. Also, I'm gonna go back for a little bit. Give me a second. Okay. So, Osgood asked the doctor what the stars stand for, which I don't fucking believe that she doesn't know what it stands for. Fake fan detected Osgood. But then the doctor was like, "What? You have to know. It's really obvious. It's totally and radically driving in space." Are you for real, doctor? And I'm like, yes, he's for real because he's the doctor. This is the doctor now. And I actually do like that. I do like that a lot. I like that Capaldi hit... Because Series 8 Capaldi might as well be a completely different character from Series 9 Capaldi. Because in Series 8 he was brooding, he was moody, he hated everything himself. He was very edgy, he was very... Like, he kept wondering, am I good? Am I a good man? Like, that was the question, right? That was the question the entire series up until the finale. And I do like that at the finale, he realized, you know what? Fuck that shit, man. Like, come on. I'm just some dude. I'm just hanging out. I'm doing whatever I want. And I'm helping people along the way. And that's it. I'm just some dude. I'm an idiot. With a screwdriver and a box. That's it. And I feel like from that point onwards, he decided, you know what? Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm just gonna be the opposite of what I've been thus far. And that is 100% an improvement. And I feel like this episode is the episode where this is the complete 180. This is everything I never thought Capaldi would be being. And even it's difficult to say because you never actually know whether the doctor is acting or not with the stuff that he says, right? So I don't know how much of this is Capaldi's is the 12th Doctor's personality and how much of it is him playing out a personality, if that makes any sense. But at this point, I think that's just him. I think he's just decided to fuck it. I'm just gonna be this now because it's more fun, and that is That's my favorite. That's my absolute favorite. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm sold on Capaldi. Because, like, here's the thing. I like Capaldi as an actor, and I like what he's doing, and I like what he's been doing for the past 2 seasons, or season and a half, I guess. He was fantastic in Series 8. That said, the 12th Doctor, as a character in Series 8, wasn't completely doing it for me. It was good. It was very good, but it wasn't completely doing it for me because the entire point of Series 8's 12th Doctor was the question of, am I a good man? Am I not? Am I... I don't... he's wondering whether he's good or not, right? He's moody as hell. He hates, like the one that the moment the personality started striking the most was during Robert Sherwood, and that is one of my favorite things of Robert Sherwood, in hindsight, is that we have these striking personalities between Robin Hood and the Doctor, in that Robin Hood is actually like, ha ha, you know, he was so lively, cheerful, he bantered a lot, and it was like, fuck, what are you doing? I hate that, you know? He was so serious. And that's the part of the 12th Doctor that I didn't fully like. I mean, I like that he's like that, but I don't like it if he delves too much into it. You know, I want him to embrace the fact that, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna be somewhat goofy every now and then. You know, I'm just gonna not take things as seriously and just not hate people for not taking things seriously as well. You know, like if he went too far with it, it was bad. But if it was kept to a punchline level, it was fine. You know, that's where I stand with that. So Capaldi, big thumbs up. The am I a good man or not dark kind of storyline, you know, we hit Series 9, and the 12th Doctor character evolved to the point where he stopped giving a fuck about that question, and he decided to have fun, and he decided to just embrace goofiness, which is a big thumbs up. So now Capaldi, big thumbs up, 12th Doctor, big thumbs up, and like it's amazing because it's amazing when we have the actual character of the Doctor evolve, and not only when he regenerates, but over time within the same regeneration, right? Because we did have that a couple of times, but not very often, I don't think. Like, I can't think of Matt Smith's... I don't think that Matt Smith actually had, like, an arc to the 11th Doctor's character. I think that the 11th Doctor was just, he was just, like, an excited puppy, and then he died being an excited puppy as well, you know? Of course, he's not always, like, super cheery and excited and just moving around the entire time. It always depends on the situation of the episode, right? The mood. But I think that for the most part, Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, which is... I really liked the 11th Doctor back when I watched that. I think that he didn't really change very much over the course of his regeneration life. David Tennant did have a couple moments where it felt like Waters of Mars and End of Time are the ones that come to mind very much. Because I think that the 10th Doctor has... Now I'm just doing like a podcast talking about Doctor Regeneration, so I'm sorry, this is going to be long, but the 10th Doctor, I remember he had... I would say that one of the main things that the 10th Doctor had, Tennant, is that he was very emotional, romantic, but the most important thing, I think, he felt very strongly about himself, if that makes any sense. He wasn't necessarily like arrogant or egotistical, but you can tell that he loved being himself in a way. And the moment where you see it the most is again in Waters of Mars and End of Time, which is what I think to the most see in hindsight seeing Tennant. When he's getting to the end of his life and he's realizing, I don't want to go, right? In Waters of Mars, he decides to go too far because it's like, fuck you, I'm the doctor, I'm the Time Lord victorious. I'm the one that survived, therefore I can do whatever I want. The laws of time will obey me. And I can do what I want. Which was, in a way, topics that came back. And in Death in Heaven, for example, when Missy is like, you can have that power right here. You can have the power of whatever army of the dead that you want. You can go and make any fight have the outcome that you want. Because you're right. Nobody thinks they're righter than you. And then Capaldi will say, no, thank you. You lose sight sometimes. And I remember Tennant lost sight that one time in Waters of Mars. And then he immediately snapped back out of it. But after, what was her name? Adelaide? Whatever. The woman from Waters of Mars, she commits suicide. And then he's like, I've gone too far. And then you see it when, in End of Time, when he realizes that he has to let Wilfred go. He has this monologue that was a very weird monologue. When I first saw it, it was very weird. But in hindsight, I see it again and I'm like, I get it. He's actually really upset and frustrated. He was super emotional. What I'm talking about is that scene when he was like, of course, look at you, Wilfred. You're not even remotely important. But me? I could do so much more. And he got really emotional. You can see it in Tennant's face. He did an amazing job there. And that I'm thinking about, and it's like Tennant felt very strongly about himself. And he didn't want to do it, but at the same time, he's like, he looks at it and he's like, I have lived too long. I need to go. I need to go. I have already regenerated once into myself. So I'm just going to stop that. It's time. I like that Tennant came into acceptance with that and realized, I need to go. I need to go at some point. Like, at some point I need to go. I can't be David Tennant forever. Even though some people would have liked that, because Tennant was a really good doctor. Honestly. I'm just talking about Tennant now. But like the thing is that, okay, sorry, I get really sidetracked sometimes. You know me. I may be like, I'm about to get sidetracked again, but like the video that I just went up on the channel like a couple days ago, which is no, this didn't go up on the channel. It went up on Patreon. But The Woman Who Lived, that episode is an hour long. And again, the reaction is only like 15 minutes. Everything else is just me talking about dumb bullshit. So I get sidetracked really hard, like I just did. But coming back to the 12th Doctor, I feel like not every Doctor has a progression of character. The 12th Doctor might have the best progression of character we've seen so far. In my opinion. Of course, whether you like it or not, that is subjective. But in my opinion, it is the best. Because it's the one that I like the most. So, Capaldi, big thumbs up. Double thumbs up. He is fantastic. The 12th Doctor is doing it. This was a great episode. And it's this episode is just a showcase for Capaldi to just flex on people. He's just here to flex on people, like, look at what I can do. Look at my acting. I'm like, holy shit, that was good. Holy shit, that was good. He's just flexing on every other Doctor, really. He really is. But, okay, I'm just gonna shut up. I don't want to actually, like, offend people that like other Doctors more than this one. But I like this one a lot. What can I say? I like this one a lot. So, alright. I'm just gonna shut up. I feel like we need to end this video at some point. We need to go. Like David Tennant, we need to go at some point. So, we're gonna do that. So, we do have 2 Osgoods now. because there must always be two Osgoods. Otherwise, the Zygons of Azeroth will fall upon the Earth. That was an awful joke and reference. But whatever, there's two Osgoods. One of them is Bonnie. So Bonnie, the fake Clara, the leader of the army of the Zygon rebels or whatever, she changed her mind. She was sold on the idea of peace, and she decided, you know what, I'm gonna 180. I'm gonna fucking 180 and decide war is bad, and I'm gonna protect this fucking planet. So, good job, Bonnie. Good job, Bonnie. Dude, I hope her name was Bonnie, because I think she said it. But they never brought it back. The doctor just called her Sigella. But I don't want to call her Sigella. It's funny, but I like Bonnie, so let's say Bonnie. But Bonnie, yeah. Yeah, she became one of the two Osgoods. And now they're just gonna protect the Earth. So that's that. The bad thing is that Kate doesn't remember what has happened in the Black Archive, which it is for the better, really. Because all you need to do is for the Doctor to just show up, and the Zygon to just show up, and both of them to just tell Kate, hey, we talked it out, it's fine. And Kate is probably just gonna be like, alright, weapons down, we're good, you know? But it's better for Kate to not know that the boxes are empty, you know, instead of keep thinking that the boxes do something. But at the same time, that very emotional bit with Capaldi was fantastic. So it's like, yeah, it sucks that Kid forgot about that, but whatever. It's for the better. So there you go. I guess the question still stands of which one is this Osgood, the Osgood that we have the entire episode. Is she the human one or is she the Zygon one? And the answer, I said it at the beginning, the answer is fuck you, you don't know, and you're never going to know. You know? And I do like that it was like, the moment when I'll answer that question will be the moment when that question no longer matters. Like, when the answer to that question no longer matters, that's when we'll stop it. I'll answer it. I'll answer it then, not any time before. That is 11 minutes of the Black Archive scene. So it's not 5 minutes of Capaldi monologuing. It's closer to 10. I don't think it's 10. I don't think Capaldi talked the entire time. But it's like 7 minutes of that shit. That's... wow. That's amazing. Holy shit. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. This is a fantastic episode. I love it. Dude, like, people keep saying... we're gonna address this. We're just gonna address this. This is like another episode that so this is the number one comment that I get in like every video this season, which is, oh man, I can't wait for him to get to that episode, the good one. And I'm just sitting here like, this season has been really solid. Like, this entire season has been wonderful. So, the fact that people keep saying, no, wait until that one, though. I'm, like, both... like, I'm, like, a little bit disappointed that people are not talking about the episodes that I'm watching. They're talking about, oh, man, I can't wait until you get to that one. But at the same time, I'm, like, I'm somewhat excited because I know that there's a really good one coming next. I'm assuming that it's the finale. Because I think I've seen people being like, oh man, the finale is really good. Maybe not necessarily in my videos, but I think in different videos people have been like, oh, the Series 9 finale is really good. So I'm like, okay. And it has to go out, and like I hope it goes out with a bang, because this series has been wonderful so far. And that's something I need to address, because I feel like I have to at some point, which is people are very excited for me to get to a specific point, and I am not there yet. But I'm excited to get there too. But let's not diminish how good. No, diminish? Is diminish the right word? Belittle? No, belittle not. That's. Let's not undersell how good these episodes before the finale are. Because, I mean, I assume that maybe the common episode that is like really good is gonna be the one thing that I remember about this season mostly. But the thing is that everything this season has given me so far has been really good, really good. Because we had the Magician's Apprentice, immediately it's like Kiv Davros, fuck you. Classic references, Fourth Doctor, fuck you. Then yeah, which is familiar was less good, but it was still solid. Then we go to Under the Lake Before the Flood, and Before the Flood is Bootstrap Paradox, who wrote Beethoven's Fifth. Like, I keep thinking about that episode, and I'm just thinking about the beginning and the end when the Doctor's just breaking the fourth wall, just like with a hammer. It's fantastic. Then we have Girl Who Died, which was a fun episode, and then holy shit, what? Then we had The Woman Who Lived, which is like, oh, so this is what you've been up to, huh? And then we touched that very weird point of character that we never really acknowledge with the Doctor often, because there is never a comparison to make. But now there is a direct comparison to make of this point of like, I don't die and other people around me do. So they explore that, and that is really good and really interesting, and they go into, this is what being human is like, with fucking Swift Sam the Shooter, or whatever his name was. That dude just making stupid jokes and just laughing, even though he was going to die. He was like, no, this is what matters to me, so I'm going to do it. And I think that the Doctor actually grabs something from that, being like, this is what matters, so I should focus more on that, rather than being a grumpy piece of shit. So I do like that so much. And this episode now, I mean, and the previous one, Zygon Invasion, I haven't edited the Zygon Invasion yet, so I'm not thinking a lot about Invasion. I'll do it after the rewatch when I have to edit it. But it was a good setup episode, and then this episode was just like, 10 minutes of just Capaldi talking. Hell yeah. So this season, big thumbs up. This season so far is like an 8.5 out of 10. Maybe a 9. But let's say 8.5. So if there's good shit upcoming, like really good shit, I'm just like, whew. I might just spontaneously combust while watching this series finale. But at the same time, I don't want to get too excited. It's difficult when everyone says, "Oh man, it's gonna be really good when you get to that point, huh?" But at the same time, I think I'm fairly good. There are dogs barking outside. But at the same time, I think I'm fairly good at just keeping my expectations at a reasonable level. Not too high, not too low, because I know that people sometimes are full of shit. Essentially. It's not that I don't trust you guys, but usually a lot of these things are subjective, which means that I never really take anyone's word for it. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, you like that episode very much. Maybe I will like it. We'll see. I probably will, but I'm keeping my expectations just at a reasonable level, and we'll see when we get there, essentially. We are more than halfway through now. This is episode 8. Is it 8? We're at 8 already, aren't we? Yeah, this is 8. So... Oh, there's only 12 this season? Again? I thought there would be 13 by now. I think it was only 8, the one that has 12. I'm gonna check that out later. Maybe one of them is missing here. But oh, if it's only 12, that means we're only 4 episodes left. God damn it. I want more Capaldi. I'm being robbed here. I want more Capaldi. Alright, we're nearing the 2 hours mark in this recording. So this is gonna be a long conversation we're gonna have with this video. So I'm sorry. But congratulations and thank you if you made it all the way through this video. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this Doctor Who reaction. If you want to see the next one, it's already up on Patreon as well as full length. You can also check out my gaming channel, Twitch, Twitter, etc. It's all in the description. All in all, thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you next time. Take care.